Welcome back to another video. So I've got these two Atari Video Pinball machines that I got from the free file at VCF Midwest. So I don't know a ton about these video pinball machines. I mean, these ones specifically I know almost nothing about since they were just in the free file. But I did look them up and did a little bit of research. Apparently this was the last standalone game that Atari made before they came out with the 2600, which was then known as the Video Computer System, or VCS. So Atari previously had made a bunch of single game consoles, and I mean, these have like 7 games on them, but you know, it's really kind of the same game with different gameplay, I guess. So they've made a bunch of these in the past, and this was the last one from, I think, 1977, maybe it was 79, I don't quite remember. They also had a rebranded one that was sold under the Sears brand as well. So just taking a look at these things, they do take batteries. It looks like they take 6 C-cells, which I have here. And there's a battery compartment in the back, which is really hard to get open. I broke this one. Oh, that's great. So yeah, it's just a big battery bay in the back here. This one's got a little bit of corrosion on it, but it's not too bad. And then they just have this video out cable, which I can convert to standard coax. Let's get that hooked up. Oh, this one's actually missing the pin in the center, so maybe that's why this one is in the free file. Let's take a look at this one. Do we have the same kind of problem? No, this one's got the pin. So if this one might need a little bit of work. This one, I don't know if it works or not. We'll find out if I can get it open. So I don't really want to damage the plastic, but I don't really know of another way to get this open without a little bit of prying. I think that's probably okay. All right. So this one doesn't seem to have any corrosion. It looks like it's in great shape. So let's go ahead and install 6 C-cell batteries. Right, so right after this I plugged it in and nothing happened. I don't know what happened to the video, but it wasn't very dramatic. So let's cut back to me opening it up and seeing if we can figure out what's wrong with it. Alright, so I got the screws out, got the batteries out, got the back plate off, and now I think it should just pop apart. And I imagine there's going to be some connectors here. Alright, so we've got one for the paddle. So that's the one closest to me. And we've got a speaker. And we've got the 2 bumpers here. So let's disconnect those. And that's the 3rd one. And this is probably for the battery on the bottom, I'm guessing. Disconnect that. We can leave the speaker connected. And I think it might just come out. It does. Alright, and this should unplug. There's a note on here that says B on B. I don't know what that means. And then we've got an RF shield. I don't know if that just comes off or if it's soldered on. Alright. So let's leave that one apart. And let's take a look at this one. So this is the one that has the bad cable. And the one where I pushed this in, broke the plastic. I was trying to get it apart, unfortunately. I think we'll be able to glue it. I don't think that's the end of the world, but it's unfortunate. Alright, with those screws out, this one should come apart as well. Alright, and there's my broken plastic. So I think we can just kind of force that back in there and then glue it, and it should be fine. It's unfortunate, one of those things that happens when you're unfamiliar with something and you're trying to open the battery door and you're putting pressure down and there's a big button sticking out of the top. But it's not the end of the world. Alright, so speaker's the end, paddle's third, batteries here. Alright, so let's get those batteries installed in this one. Alright, so I think the first thing I want to do is check the voltage. Make sure these batteries are good. Alright, so we should get, so 1.5 times 6 is 9, so we should be getting 9 volts out of these. That is a little low. Alright, so I've got my my Schnitt power power supply. So this is an adjustable voltage power supply. And it's got a bunch of different ends you can use, including just some bare terminals. So we'll use that. Alright, so we need somewhere around 9 volts. So to do that, I'm going to take that end. Where did I put it? There it is. And I've got these clip leads here. So this should be positive. And this should be negative. Alright, let's see if we're getting 9 volts out of here now. And I can adjust it up or down. 9.08, pretty close. This thing's really kind of touchy with fine tuning. I don't know if you can see it back here, but it's reading 9.02. That's pretty close. If I try to turn it down a touch, yeah, it jumps way down, so it's difficult to get like right at 9. Close enough. 9.01, that's actually pretty good. Alright, so I've got red is positive, black is negative. Let's disconnect the power here. Whoa, these are really corroded. That could also be an issue. Let's see if we can get anything working though. Wow, I need to clean that up for sure. So right now it's off. Let's go ahead and turn it on. I don't know if it's supposed to do anything when it's on. There is this speaker that's hooked up, but let's go ahead and plug this in. Let's plug this into the TV. Alright, let's hit power and see what we get. Nothing. And then we'll check to make sure we're still getting power here. And we are. Alright. Let's disconnect this. Disconnect that. Bring this one back over. This is the one that's got some corrosion on the pins. I'm not sure we're going to get a great connection out of it, but make sure it's off. Alright, there's off. Alright, let's go ahead and turn it on. Nothing here either. There's a flash or something. So, like I said, these were in the free pile at VCF, and there's a lot of really smart people at VCF, which means that someone may have already tried to fix this and given up. Selection's off. This one should come off. This one way down here. One on this side. Not much circuitry in these. I believe these use the Pong on a chip technology, just something Atari developed. I don't know how you untwist this one. These buttons pop off easily, they do. Oh, and here is a piece of a pin header, it looks like. It came from somewhere. No idea what that would be from. Alright, so let's see what we have here. We have the main chip. It's AMI branded plastic. We have a 70... Here's an Atari branded chip. I don't know what this is. I think this might be RAM or something, 23128. We have a crystal from October of 1977. Some resistors, some ceramic caps. Let's see, does this come off? This does too, okay. I don't see any real rework having been done on here. I suppose we should start toning some things out and see if we're getting power to where power needs to go. Alright, I've got the schematics. It's one sheet for the whole board and a second sheet for the RF modulator. So now I want to plug in power and make sure it's getting everywhere it's supposed to go. Alright, let's see if we're getting about 9 volts there. We are. Alright, let's go ahead and turn it on. Alright, so we should see 5 volts coming out of this through the 7805. See what we're getting here. 0, 0, and nothing. So these legs look pretty jank. And we're getting nothing here still, right? No. Turn it on. So I think that's going to be the main problem. We're not getting power to the board because this MOSFET is dead. And it should be putting out 5 volts at VCC. 9 comes in. Input, ground, output. And pin 3 should be VCC. But we're also not getting input to it, right? So this is where power comes in. It routes to here. Which I guess is jumpered to here somehow. I haven't figured out how, but it goes here. So this is where power comes in, goes to the switch. So we got continuity here, and this is the switch, the other side. So it's open right now. It's 1. So the switch here is open. If I close it, so we got nothing. But if I work it a bunch, I was finding that I could get some continuity out of it, but yeah, nothing now. And I'm going to hook voltage up to it. To voltage here. So we're getting our full 9 volts here, and on this side, not much at all. So what I'm going to do is just bridge that connection. So that switch is obviously bad. So for testing, I'm just going to short it. Alright, so now we got a good connection between these two, just using a piece of solder as the bridge. Which isn't ideal, but it works here. I'll switch back to volts. Now we're getting the full 9 volts on this side. So let's check out this power regulator here. See what we're getting. So in should be 9. And this middle one should be ground. And this one should be 5 volts coming out. It is. Good. So this one we've got the right voltage coming out now. Previously we didn't. So let's plug this into the TV and see if we get anything here. All right. So now we're getting a black screen. It's definitely different than before. So now we can start checking some of these other ICs. And some of these traces that look like they might be bad. I got no connection here. Oh, I do. Where does this brown go to? Just goes to ground of one of the controllers, I think. One of the paddles. We'll need to fix that eventually. This one's over here looking pretty suspect as well. And we're getting nothing here.
Holy shitballs.
Getting nothing here.
Sorry.
Getting nothing here. Let's try putting some fresh solder onto these pads here. Alright, so let's try to clean these corroded pads off with a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. Looks better. Now I'm just going to try to reflow a couple of these solder joints and see if we can actually get fresh solder in there. I don't know if we're going to be able to. They look pretty bad. We got some there. So I think this is all ground plane here. It looks like it might all be kind of damaged. I can't quite tell, but I think these are supposed to connect to here. We'll check the schematics here. That one definitely does. Maybe that's not the ground plane over here. Connect negative first. Positive. It should just flip on because the switch is hardwired. Well, we're still getting the black screen. So let's take a look at this socketed IC. Definitely possible that these sockets are a bit crusty. Alright, so pin 1 is down here, closest to the crystal. Just for fun, let's take the IC from the other one and swap that in. They are different, but they should be the same. It's the same model. Everything else on these boards appears to be pretty much identical. So this is the other one. We'll pop this in here. All right. Maybe I can clean these up and hook up to these instead. We're gonna need some steel wool or something. We'll just keep doing it this way. So we'll hook up negative first. And then positive. All right, still a black screen. So let's carefully flip this board over. And we'll do some checks of what's on the schematics here while it's powered up. So I think this means that the RF converter is converting correctly. We are getting something out of it. It could be that the RF converter is bad, but I don't suspect that at this point. Let's go to voltage. Alright, so let's make sure that pin 25 is VCC. So that should be 5 volts there. 1 through 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Yep, it's getting 5 volts. We've got a bunch of address lines. What else can we check with just a meter here? So ground is 8. Let's check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Am I on 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ground 8. I was looking at the wrong thing. What is pin 8? Pin 8 is PA3. Okay, so never mind. That's probably okay. Ground is pin 1. Yep, and that is ground. That's good. Pin 40 goes to the pot. Pin 4 is for sound. I don't see like a reset or anything. I don't know if this thing has a reset pin and it's just not labeled in the schematics. It's a very simple circuit, so there probably is no reset. Let's check some of these other ones. Pin 7 on U3, which is the CO11512. TL11512. Okay, so this one does have a reset, and that's pin 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or RST, which I assume is reset, but it could be something else. Let's see what it's at. There's no line over it, so when it's active, reset would be low. So I think it's out of reset. What else can we test here? I think I'm gonna go grab my oscilloscope so we can start looking at some of these address lines and seeing if there's activity. That would be the best thing to check. Wait. We got something here. So yeah, when I was reading online, sound does not come out through the TV, and you just get that horrible static sound. But let me back up a little here, show you what we got. I don't know what I did. I bumped something. Maybe I hit the channel up or down. I'm pretty sure we were on 3. But that is very clear picture. That looks really nice. I don't remember what the buttons are. Reset, select, option, power. And ball serve. This is reset. This is select. Select. Option. And ball serve. So I'm guessing some of these other buttons may not work either. Seems like reset doesn't, ball serve doesn't, but option does. Alright, so it's this button and this button, and also the power button that we know don't work. So let's test those for continuity here, if I can. Maybe I need my clip leads. Alright, yeah, I'm getting nothing here. 841 ohms. And then when I push the switch, 841. So that makes no difference. So that switch is bad. This one we got 1.5k ohms and no difference. Those have got to come out. So we're here, we have one bad switch. Let's pull this one out. Getting tough to get that one out. There we go. 2 bad switches. And we do want to take the power switch out as well. But before we do that, let's see if we have any replacements. So here's our power switch. In continuity mode. Yep, this power switch is good. And let's check this switch. That's the power switch. Check this switch. Okay, it's got a resistance of 0 when it's pushed. Let's check this one. It's got a resistance of 0.14. Let's check this last one here. That's got 0. So I think these two are the better switches. So I'm going to pull these two out here. All right, before I pop these switches in, let's do a little bit of cleaning. I imagine the other switches have this goo under them as well, but I'm not going to pop them off just to clean, since I don't believe this is hurting anything. Just use this as an opportunity to clean it up a little bit. Now we can pop our new switches in. So let's start with the power switch. Oh, this is the bad one. This is the good one. All right, and then we've got these two switches. All right, now we'll just solder those in. Okay. Let's check our work to make sure none of those are touching. Good. 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 All right, so my camera battery died. I did keep working on it while I was charging that back up, so I made 2 additional changes that I didn't show on camera. The ball serve button that I had put in, tested in the other board, found to be good, put in here. Suddenly it wasn't working after I soldered it in, so I don't know if I cooked it or what the deal was, but I swapped that out from the other one, so that works now. I also replaced the connector for power. So this is the connector that was in there. It's all oxidized and corroded and terrible, so I just took one off this board. So you can see we're missing one here, and then I just put that on this one. And then I plugged everything in, and it looks like we're working. So we've got, I'm using the broken tile for now just to test it. But if we hit reset here, this is pinball. So you can see the pedals work. So we got pinball going. I mean, it's certainly nothing like pinball games of today, but it definitely is a facsimile of pinball. Anyway, that's pretty cool. So then if I hit reset, I can do game select. And then I can do options, I think. I'm still figuring out how everything works. So now if I come here and hit this, now we have breakout, arcanoid, whatever you call it. I forget what they called it in here. It says somewhere. Rebound? Oh, breakout they call it. But yeah, everything is working. So I guess the last thing I need to try is the potentiometer on the other one. Make sure that works, otherwise I can swap this into that. All right, so as you can see, we've got the pinball here. I gotta play one-handed, and not even good at that. And if you reset, I'm gonna select, it's an option. I can play breakout. This is a little easier to play one-handed. Oh yeah, that's how you do it. Nope. Anyway, yeah, so we got this guy all fixed. So whoever put these on the table at VCF Midwest, I was right behind you. I saw you set them down and I scooped them both up. And then I was thinking maybe I should put one back, not be greedy. And I'm glad I took both because I needed parts from both. So let me unpower this one. What did we end up taking? So we took a bunch of the switches. We ended up taking the main IC. But I think everything else in here was correct. And then on this board, which is now pretty bare. I'm taking a lot of the stuff off, the IC, the switches. I don't know that the problem was with this power regulator. So when this machine has power, it's got the 9 volts across, in, ground, and out. And if I test it for shorts when it's not powered, there's no shorts. So something else on here is shorting, I think, all of that together. So I'm not really sure what, but fortunately it had the parts we needed to get this one working. And I'm really happy because this is a pretty cool little system. So 1977 Atari Model C-380. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we will catch you in the next one.
Hi guys! Make sure to like and subscribe, and watch more of our videos later. Bye!